Hi, Purple Finch students. Hello. And how are you? It's me, Miss Emily. I hope you are all doing well. Today, we are going to have a very special circle. I'm going to be giving you circle through video, and you get to watch it in your home. Before we start, let's make sure our bodies are ready, just like we do in circle at school. Some of you might be sitting on the floor or on your couch or maybe on a chair. So let's make sure our bodies are ready. I'm sitting on the floor, so I'm going to make sure my legs are crisscross, applesauce, or just together, and making sure I have a good spot to sit in. That's first. Next, let's make sure we have our listening ears. Where are our listening ears? I have 1, 2. Here are my listening ears. Are yours working? All right. I have my feet already, my legs, my ears. Let's begin. Let's start our circle by singing the months of the year. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. Do you remember what month we're in? Let's go ahead and sing the months of the year, but this time we're going to stop when we get to the month that we're in. Are we still in January? No, January passed. How about February? Are we in February? We are in the month that begins with the sound. March. We are still in March. January. Oh, so let's start. We're going to stop when we get to March. Ready? January, February, March. March. Now, let's begin with our circle. We were talking about a continent back at school. I'll give you some clues if you forgot that this continent is the biggest continent in the world. It has the most people living in it. Some countries that we talked about that are in this continent are Russia, Iran, the Philippines, Lebanon, China, India. What's the name of that continent? Asia. Can you say Asia? We learned about all these different countries in Asia. We talked about different things. We talked about the different children that live in different parts of Asia and Japan. We talked about children that lived in Cambodia and India and how they go to school, what kind of lunches they eat. Today, we are going to talk about something a little different. This is our biomes map. Can you say biome? We are going to talk about biomes, the biomes in Asia. We talked about the biomes in North America. Do you remember what biome we live in? It's the biome that grows so many trees, and it gets a lot of rain, but not as much rain as a tropical rainforest. We live in the temperate forest. Today, we're going to talk about the different biomes that are in Asia. Some of these colors look familiar. We know that yellow is the grasslands, orange is the desert, very hot and dry. Do they get a lot of rain in the desert? Can a lot of plants grow in the desert? No. Today, and this green one here is the temperate forest. This is the biome we live in Asia. The temperate forest goes all the way to the top and the bottom. Today we are going to talk about the mountains. This purple piece is the mountains. It is in this part of Asia, right down here. Can you say mountains? Mountains are large forms of land that come out of the ground and they form a peak. Some are very, very, very tall. Can you make a mountain with your arms? Some mountains are very, very steep. Some mountains are so wide. Mountains are very important. They help water flow through different parts of land, and they're also the home of many important animals that live in Asia. Let's talk a little bit more about the mountains. Did you know the biggest trail of mountains is in Asia? It's called the Himalayan mountains. Can you say Himalayan? The Himalayan mountains are the biggest in the world. In the Himalayan mountains is a mountain called Mount Everest. Can you say Mount Everest? Mount Everest is a very popular mountain that people travel all over the world. They come and climb this mountain. People like to travel to Mount Everest, or people like to travel to Nepal and climb Mount Everest, and sometimes they even plant their flag right at the very top to celebrate. Would you like to climb Mount Everest one day? The temperature around Mount Everest can be nice and cool during the day and night. Sometimes it can also be really sunny and warm. But when you get closer to the top of the mountain, it usually has snow because it's so far from the land. It's actually really cold up here. What are some things that grow in the mountains? Some things that grow in the mountains are plants and shrubs and trees, pine trees, and different kind of trees. Some other plants that grow by the mountains are bamboo. Can you say bamboo? Bamboo is a very, very, very thick plant that grows mainly by the mountains. It could take a while for bamboo to grow, but it's very nutritious, and there's an animal in Asia that only lives in Asia that can eat these bamboo. Do you want to guess what the animal is? It's a panda bear. Panda bears live in Asia. They like to live in areas that are a little bit on the chilly side. You see? They have these thick furry coats and these very thick paws that make it safe for them to live by the mountains. And they eat bamboo. The animal that lives in China is the red panda bear. They're so cute. They also have a very thick fur, just like the panda. But this red panda bear is a little bit smaller. Actually, he's a lot smaller. And they like to live by the trees where it's cold. And the mountains is a perfect place for the pandas to live. Do you think this animal can live in the desert where it's very hot? It would get way too hot. Another animal that lives by the mountains is the snow leopard. The snow leopard is like a very big cat. It's a feline. It has very, very big paws that are good to climb those cold, rocky mountains. The snow leopard has a very thick, furry tail that helps them balance and move and hunt in the mountains. The snow leopard also has a very, very, very thick fur on his stomach. The fur on his stomach is actually longer than the fur all over his body, but that's to keep him warm. The red panda, the panda bear, and the snow leopard all have very thick coats to keep them warm in the cold mountains. We talked a little bit about the mountains today. Here is the bio piece for the mountains. The mountains are big forms of land that come from the ground. The weather is usually cold around the mountains, and the closer you get to the top, the colder it gets, and you'll find a lot of snow. Plants that grow around the mountains closer to the bottom, lots of trees and shrubs, but as you get closer up the mountain, not much can grow. Animals that live at the bottom of the mountain or by the edge of the mountain on trees are pandas and the red panda. Oops. Those animals like to eat bamboo. And the animals that live closer to the top of the mountain where it's really snowy are the snow leopards, where they have those big, thick paws and those super long fur on their tummies to keep them warm. I'm going to read you a story called How Many Baby Pandas by Susan Markle, and we can count together. Ready? How Many Baby Pandas by Susan Markle. How many baby pandas have just been born? Let's count. 1. Sometimes, though, mother pandas have 2 babies, twins. 1, 2. Ooh. How many pandas are taking a nap? 1, 2, 3. How many panda cubs are climbing? Oop, this is tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Oh, how many baby pandas are eating? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Look at this panda eating. How many baby pandas are playing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. How many panda cubs are chewing bamboo? They're getting bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where's the 7? 7. How many panda cubs are resting? Let's see how many are resting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. How many baby pandas? Aren't they so cute? I hope you enjoyed your story and your circle. Have a great day.